Mr. Speaker, for the first time in American history, a presidential administration is trying to jail its opponent. And not just any opponent, but a former president of the United States. To pursue this objective, Mr. Biden's Attorney General approved an unprecedented armed raid on a former president's home, despite strenuous objections by his career officials and the local field office that normally would have had jurisdiction. He then created a new position without the constitutional requirement of congressional action or Senate confirmation. He filled that position with one Jack Smith, despite the central role Smith had played in the IRS scandal that targeted and harassed the Tea Party volunteers, and despite a long history of prosecutorial misconduct. The cooked-up charge was the mishandling of classified documents. Well, shortly thereafter, we discovered that as vice president, Joe Biden had done the same thing. Yet, as president, Mr. Trump had absolute authority to declassify materials at will. As vice president, Joe Biden did not. As president, Mr. Trump had absolute authority to determine what records to keep upon leaving office. As vice president, Joe Biden did not. Yet, the Biden administration's appointed special counsel in the Biden case concluded that although Biden had, quote, willfully retained and disclosed classified materials when he was a private citizen, criminal charges were not warranted because he's, quote, a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Well, the principal justification for this glaring double standard in the handling of these two cases was the interview with Mr. Biden. Yet all we have is the unverified transcript to determine the validity of this otherwise inexplicable decision. Mr. Biden cannot claim executive privilege. This was not a policy discussion, and he's already released the transcript. But it is vital that our committee know if the transcript is complete and whether it accurately portrays the circumstances under which that decision was made. 2 Trump officials have been sentenced to prison for their failure to honor congressional subpoenas. And that case was far weaker than this one because at the time, Congress was not exercising oversight or considering legislation. In this case, the Judiciary Committee is doing both. Yet once again, we have this glaring legal double standard at play. Now, I expect the Attorney General to thumb his nose at the citation. We've come to expect that of him. But the House Judiciary Committee is charged with defending and upholding the rule of law and its fundamental principle of equal justice under law. And if we're going to restore them, this resolution is an indispensable step that we must take today. And I reserve the balance of my time.